Okay, what's up everybody? Hello, happy Tuesday. Today's topic, wrists and hands. Now, all the time I am hearing people ask me questions about how do I strengthen my wrists, or I can't do this because my wrists aren't strong enough. Think about anything that you're doing on your hands, right? Push-ups, mountain climbers, burpees, if you want to start introducing handstands into your routine. These are all things that you want to consider, right? Do I have the strength or the stability in my wrists? Now, here's what's crucial. What most people don't consider is that their wrists actually need a lot of flexibility. So here's a great trick. So what I want you to do, all fours, okay? You're gonna take your hands, put them right underneath your shoulders. Now this is crucial. You wanna make sure that the dimples of your elbows face each other. Most people will turn out their arms like this, and in turn, if you look at me from the side, I have hyperextended elbows, see? But once I turn my arms so that the dimples of my elbows are facing in, it helps to anatomically align my wrist, my elbow, right over my shoulder. Now, some people don't realize part of the problem why they don't have the wrist stability is two reasons. Anytime you are working on your hands, whether it's a handstand or a push-up, you want to make sure you're using your grip strength. What does that mean? If I'm working on my hands, I'm actually trying to squeeze the floor with my fingertips. So I'm not putting any pressure or any weight, almost trying to keep the palm of my hand off the floor. You're gonna notice a huge difference with that, because what it does is it helps take all of the weight out of the joint, and you're actually using muscle. Now, especially men might not always have the wrist flexibility. Here's what I mean by this, right? So when you're on your hands, when you're doing anything on your hands, right? Once you make sure anatomically the dimples of your elbows are facing each other, can you even get your hands or your shoulders over your hands? A lot of people might be back here. They might not even have the mobility to be able to correctly work on your hands. So here's what we gotta do. We gotta increase the mobility in your wrists and your hands so that way you feel stable and comfortable anytime you're doing a push-up, handstand work, swipes, spider lunges, whatever you're deciding to do. So let's check it out here. First, let's evaluate what you do for a living. Are you on a computer all the time? If you are on a computer all the time, especially right now when we're all at home and we're working at home a lot, think of this. If your hands are like this a lot, all of this stuff in here is gonna get very tight. And in turn, when you go to do work on your hands, you might not be able to have that flexibility. So here's some drills that I want you to do. This is all my gymnast tricks. So you're gonna go on all fours, make sure the dimples of your elbows face in, and you're gonna literally draw circles. What I'm doing is I'm pushing my fingertips in the floor, making sure that my dimples of the elbows stay facing in, and I'm also drawing these circles to create more mobility and flexibility in my wrists and my hands, right? Once you have that established, you can even do drills like this. Turning your hands away from you, turning your fingertips towards you, try to get the heel of your hand to press into the ground and stretch like this. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna stretch out your forearm, okay? Now I don't have like hugely strong forearms. Has nothing to do with that, guys, nothing to do with that. It has to do more with your mobility. So once you've drawn the circles, once you've done this one as a stretch, don't forget this way. This is important. Now where you will feel this, keeping your arms locked out, is you're gonna feel this stretch. Look at my forearms, you can see it. You can actually see the musculature in the forearm really getting stretched out. Keeping your elbows, right, the dimples of my elbows facing each other, and one hand is usually a little tighter than the other. I'm a left-handed writer, so normally my left hand is gonna be a little bit tighter than my right. Another one, I did this in my class today. Lace your fingertips together, literally draw circles. If you notice, like even me, because I haven't been doing these drills enough, I'm noticing that my wrist feels sore. Soreness in my wrist does not mean something's wrong. You know, a lot of you have probably sprained a wrist. You know when something is wrong. But in order to gain that strength, you want to make sure that you are stretching out your wrists just like you do anything else, and your hands, right? So make sure you're going like this, doing these kinds of things to stretch out your hands and your fingertips. Make sure you get all those nice, tiny, intrinsic muscles in your hands. Now, how do we strengthen our grip strength? Number one and foremost, this is my biggest pet peeve. One of my biggest pet peeves. So we got kettlebells, right? There's a million different ways of holding them. There's a whole billion different drills that exist that make kettlebells an amazing tool to use. What you have to remember is anytime you have a kettlebell or a dumbbell or a tool in your hand, it is designed to be held. So here's what I'll see all the time. I'll see people holding it like this. Now, not that this is necessarily bad, but it is, because when you're holding something especially that's heavy, in order for me to get the benefit of the grip strength, you want to make sure that the kettlebell especially is resting in your hand, right? When I'm holding it up, so you can already see the musculature in my wrist and my forearm. I don't have these big gargantuan forearms, but I do have forearms that are going to be strong enough to support my elbow, to support my shoulder, and give me the strength that I need to be able to do work on my hands, right? So when you're holding your kettlebell, see how it's resting on my wrist? I'm not like this, I'm like this. This is where the fundamentals and the foundation of grip strength come from. So anytime I'm doing work with kettlebells, I make sure, yes. So see how my knuckles, just like a fist, just like when I'm punching, I'm not like this. I don't have a break in the wrist. I'm like this. So everything is stacked up anatomically over my elbow. And when I'm using the kettlebell, right, if I'm doing a press, it's the same exact thing. I'm not like this, where I'm broken at the wrist. I'm like this, right? Making sure everything is lined up so I can work and be the strongest possible. Your body is like a foundation, and if your foundation is uneven or unbalanced, that's when we have injuries. So, great drills. You guys have probably heard of a farmer carry. That's just this guy. Now, when you're doing a carry with a kettlebell, right, sometimes I'll have my arm out, depends on how my balance is for that day. But I'll do carries like this. But I'm definitely not like this. I'm definitely like this, where the palm of my hand is actually holding the kettlebell. It's a huge difference. Watch the way that my arm looks here. You can see that none of the musculature in my arm is activated because it's literally just hanging in my fingertips. That is putting all the weight in my joint. Now, the function of the muscle, of a muscle in general, is to support a joint, right? So if I'm like this, I'm not even using my grip strength. The same goes for dumbbells. The same guys goes for dumbbells. When you are holding dumbbells, hold them. Hold them. You know how many times I see people do bicep curls and they're like this? Why? Now, what would be the purpose of doing that? Let's really, really think about it. Am I gonna feel it in my bicep more if my hands are open? No. No. As a matter of fact, if you use your grip strength, think about when somebody flexes their muscle. You flex your muscle like this. Try it. Go ahead and try it with me. Flexing my bicep. I go like that, or I go like that. What feels like I'm getting more muscle tone? When I'm using my hand. Use your grip strength. Hold your dumbbells. Hold your kettlebells. Careful you're not breaking at the wrist. Do your wrist stretches, and most of all, do not forget to use your grip strength. We have a tendency to forget that our hands are some of the most beautiful, strongest parts of our bodies. And I want you to think of it this way. Think of athletes that use their hands for a living. Basketball players, wrestlers, even people that are not athletes, construction workers. My father's a stonemason, and his hands are so strong. The stronger your hands are, the stronger your grip strength is. It does not mean that your hands have to be huge like sausages, but it does mean that the strength in your hands can help make your workout better. So that way your muscles work more efficiently and work better, right? So here's the drills that I want you to practice this week. I want you to take this guy. Try implementing this into your routine, especially if you know you're gonna be doing anything with push-ups or even where you're holding weights. Fingertips forward, draw 5 to 10 circles to the right, 5 to 10 circles to the left. Holding this guy and reverse. Practicing the stretch and the flexibility of your wrist and your forearm. This one, practicing the stretch in the wrist, flexibility and mobility. And then you'll be able to do cool shit like this. You ready? You ready for this? Push-ups. Inverted grip push-ups. And I want you to try it. I want you to even try doing one before you think you can't do it. Try it. See what happens, right? And then it'll help evaluate what really is going on in the situation. Start alleviating the fear behind doing stuff on your hands and get strong. Get strong behind it. Get better. Conquering fear. All right? And don't forget these guys too. So today's lesson, one more. This is actually a super duper clever trick that actually rock climbers use and wrestlers too. If you find, if you're somebody that has carpal tunnel, or you're somebody that's broken fingers, or if you're somebody jammed fingers, or you've broken or sprained your wrists, sprained your fingers, a great drill that's so simple. Get a bag of rice, put it in a bowl or a bucket, and circle your fingers. Draw the ABCs with your hands in the bowl of rice. So you have a little bit of resistance, and that's gonna help gain dexterity, strength, and mobility in your hands and in your wrists. All right? I hope this was helpful. My name is X, and get after those wrists. Hold your damn dumbbells, people. Hold your damn kettlebells. All right? I'll see you guys next time.